Have you ever held your grandbaby and found yourself wondering, is this little one doing what they should be at this age? Maybe you've noticed they're not rolling over like your other kids did, or they're not making the same kinds of sounds you remember from years ago. Or perhaps everything seems fine, but that little voice inside keeps asking, how can I be sure they're growing right? If you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. Whether you're a grandparent raising a baby or just stepping in to help out more than expected, it's normal to second guess and worry a little. Babies don't come with manuals. And raising a child in your 60s or 70s? That's a whole different journey than it was decades ago. Back then, we didn't have smartphones or online parenting forums, or even much discussion about baby milestones. We just kind of figured it out. But now, we have more information at our fingertips than ever before, and sometimes, that can feel both empowering and overwhelming. That's why we're going to slow it down and walk through it together, calmly, clearly, and with kindness. Because tracking your baby's growth doesn't have to feel like a medical exam or some kind of pass-fail test. It's about noticing patterns, celebrating progress, and giving your little one the support they need to thrive. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 key milestones to keep an eye on during those crucial early months, things every parent or grandparent should be aware of, month by month. Not to stress you out. Not to create pressure. But to give you peace of mind. Because the more you understand what to look for, the more confident and prepared you'll feel, no matter what your age. Let's begin right at the start, those first 2 months, when everything is new and soft and a bit of a blur. One of the earliest signs of healthy development is your baby's ability to track movement with their eyes and begin to recognize your face. This usually starts around the 6-week mark, but every baby is different. Now, you might be holding that tiny bundle and thinking, I'm not sure they're really looking at me yet. And that's okay. Some babies are a little slower to focus. But if your little one is starting to follow a moving object or make eye contact while you feed them, that's a great sign. Don't worry about how long it lasts. Those first glimmers of focus, those tiny moments of connection, are signs that the visual system is waking up. You can help this along with simple, loving play. Hold a brightly colored toy, nothing fancy, and move it slowly from side to side while they're awake and alert. Talk gently, smile, and give them time. Sometimes babies just need a little more encouragement to get those tiny eye muscles moving. Now, let's talk about sound, and not just hearing, but responding. Around the 2 to 3 month range, most babies begin to startle at loud noises and turn toward familiar voices. You might notice your baby quiets down when you sing, or gets a little fussy when a dog barks nearby. That means their brain is beginning to connect sounds with feelings. They're starting to tune into the world around them. If you're not seeing that reaction yet, give it time. Some babies take a bit longer, especially if they were born early. But here's something you can do: keep talking. Narrate your day. Sing nursery rhymes. Even if it feels silly. Your voice is more than just a sound, it's their comfort, their anchor. And the more they hear it, the stronger their connection becomes. That brings us to one of the most exciting changes in early development: movement. Somewhere between 2 and 4 months, you'll likely start noticing little changes in how your baby holds their head. Maybe they can lift it for a few seconds during tummy time, or maybe they're getting better at controlling those wobbly neck muscles when you hold them upright. I know tummy time can feel like a struggle. A lot of babies hate it at first. They fuss, they cry, they push their little faces into the mat like it's the worst idea anyone's ever had. But don't give up on it. Even a few minutes a day can build strength. And if lying on the floor is tough for you, try doing tummy time on your lap, or while sitting on the couch with the baby across your chest. It still counts. What matters is that your baby is working those muscles and learning how to support their head, and eventually, their entire body. You might even start to notice small arm and leg movements getting stronger and more coordinated. That jerky reflexive kicking? Over time, it turns into real purposeful motion. Kicking the floor. Swinging their arms toward a toy. Trying to roll over. These early motions pave the way for sitting, crawling, and walking later on. And you know what? Watching that happen, those first controlled movements, is magical. Especially when you've seen how fast time flies. One day, they're all floppy and sleepy, and the next, they're trying to push themselves up like little champions. So far, we've touched on those first key signs of healthy growth: eye tracking, sound response, and early movement. These are simple things, but they mean the world when you understand what's behind them. They're not just milestones on a list. They're signs your baby is building the foundation for communication, coordination, and connection. Now that we've explored those early physical and sensory cues, let's keep moving forward. Because as babies grow, their world opens up in surprising ways, and what comes next can be just as important and just as heartwarming. As your baby grows past those first few months and starts to discover the world beyond your arms, something truly special begins to happen. That little bundle who once just stared up at you sleepily now starts to interact. You see more smiles, more coos, and, if you're lucky, a few of those delicious baby giggles that make your heart melt. This next milestone is all about communication, and no, it's not about talking yet. It starts much earlier than that. Somewhere around 3 to 5 months, most babies begin to experiment with sounds. You'll hear soft coos, little gurgles, and eventually some playful babbling. It might sound like nonsense, but it's their way of practicing. Think of it like vocal baby push-ups. They're strengthening the muscles they'll use later to say mama or grandpa. Now, if your baby hasn't started babbling yet, don't panic. Some little ones are just quieter than others. But there are ways to help nudge them along. Make eye contact, talk back to their sounds, even mimic them. If they say agoo, you say agoo right back with a big smile. Babies love this. It teaches them the rhythm of conversation before they even know what a word is. One woman I spoke with, Janet, who's raising her great-granddaughter, told me she felt silly at first having conversations with a baby. But then one day, after weeks of back-and-forth babbling, her little girl let out a loud, clear ba. And just like that, it all made sense. Every silly noise, every goofy face, it's all communication. It all matters. And speaking of faces, let's talk about expression. Around this same age, babies begin to show a wider range of emotions. Not just crying when they're hungry, but smiling when they're happy, frowning when they're confused, or even looking surprised when something catches their attention. These expressions are huge signs that your baby is starting to understand their world and react to it. You'll notice that your baby might light up when you walk into the room or cry when you walk away. That's because they're starting to form bonds. They know who you are. And if you've ever questioned whether you're doing a good job, just look at how their eyes light up when they see you. That's your answer. Now, this next part is a big one for many parents and grandparents, especially if you're the primary caregiver, reaching and grasping. Around the 4 to 6 month mark, most babies start developing hand-eye coordination. That means reaching for toys, grabbing at your shirt, or even trying to pull your glasses off your face. This might seem like just a cute phase, but it's actually a major sign of brain and motor development. They're learning cause and effect. They reach, they grab, they feel. Their little brain is connecting actions with results, and that's a beautiful thing. You can help this milestone along in gentle, simple ways. Try holding out a toy just within their reach. Let them work toward it. If they get frustrated, offer encouragement, but don't take over. Let them try. That struggle is where the learning happens. You can also dangle soft toys above their tummy during playtime, or give them something light and safe to explore, like a soft rattle or a teething ring. One day soon, you'll glance over and see them transferring a toy from one hand to the other, or even trying to bring it to their mouth. That might sound small, but to your baby, it's like learning how to drive a car. As these milestones stack up, it's easy to get caught in the comparison game. Maybe a neighbor's grandbaby is sitting up already, or your cousin keeps posting videos of her little one clapping at 5 months. And you might start to wonder, should my baby be doing that too? The truth is, every child grows on their own timeline. These milestones are meant to guide you, not pressure you. Think of them as signposts, not deadlines. The best thing you can do is keep observing, gently, lovingly, and without judgment. Celebrate progress, however small it may seem. That first time they open their hand and hold onto a rattle? That's a moment worth cheering. That first time they turn their head when you say their name? That's a milestone. Don't let the noise of comparison drown out the joy of your baby's unique journey. And while we're talking about journeys, let's take a moment to recognize yours. Parenting or grandparenting later in life comes with its own set of challenges, but also its own deep rewards. You've lived enough to know how fast these stages pass. You understand that a baby doesn't need a perfect parent, they need a present one. They need love, patience, and someone who will sit with them, sing to them, and smile at their silly sounds. You're giving your baby a gift that can't be measured on a milestone chart, the gift of being seen, of being safe, of being truly loved. That, more than anything, is what helps a baby grow right. So as we move forward, keep holding on to that trust in yourself. You're not just tracking growth, you're nurturing it, moment by moment, day by day. Now, as your little one crosses that halfway mark, 6 months and beyond, you'll likely notice the changes come faster, and they come with a bit more flair. Suddenly, your once quiet baby is making bolder moves, reaching farther, holding tighter, and yes, maybe even throwing a toy or two across the room just to see what happens. It's not mischief. It's learning. Every action is their way of saying, what happens if I do this? Let's talk about one of the most anticipated milestones, sitting up. It's a big one. Most babies start trying around 6 months, and with a little wobbly practice, they begin to steady themselves. Now, it doesn't always happen on the dot. Some babies sit independently at 5 months, others closer to 8. What matters most is that they're trying, leaning forward, using their hands to prop themselves up, maybe toppling over and trying again. When you see that effort, that's your moment to step in, not to hold them up completely, but to offer support that encourages strength. Place pillows around them. Let them sit in your lap with gentle guidance. Cheer them on when they try. And if they fall over a few times? That's all part of the process. It builds the core strength they'll use not just for sitting, but for crawling, pulling up, and eventually walking. This is also the age when you'll see more intentional play. Toys aren't just things to stare at, they become tools to explore. Your baby might shake a rattle and realize it makes a noise. Or press a button on a toy and light it up. That awareness, of doing something to get a reaction, is a key cognitive leap. You'll know they're learning when you see repetition. Dropping the spoon over and over? It's not them being difficult. It's them discovering that actions have effects. And that's a building block for everything else they'll learn, language, problem solving, even empathy down the line. But here's something just as powerful that often gets overlooked, emotional milestones. Around this time, many babies start showing signs of recognizing familiar people and becoming wary of strangers. You might notice they get clingy when someone new picks them up or cry when you leave the room. It can tug at your heart, but it's actually a sign of healthy attachment. It means they know you. They trust you. And when you come back, they're learning something huge, that you always return. This builds security, and a secure baby becomes a confident toddler, one who can explore because they know they have a safe place to come back to. If your baby's experiencing a little separation anxiety, talk them through it, even if they don't have words yet. Say things like, "Grandma's just going to the kitchen, I'll be right back." That tone of reassurance means more than you know. They hear it in your voice. They feel it in their bones. And then, there's language development. Now, I know we talked about early cooing and babbling before, but now we're entering the next stage. By 7 to 9 months, many babies begin to string syllables together. You'll hear more sounds like ba, dada, mama. And even though they might not know what those sounds mean just yet, they're getting closer. If you say mama and they look at you, or light up when you say their name, those are big milestones. It means their brain is starting to make the connection between sound and meaning. Keep talking to them. Read books aloud. Point out what things are called. It may feel repetitive, but repetition is how babies learn. And don't worry if they're not talking yet. Some babies are late bloomers with speech, especially if they're focused on physical milestones like crawling or standing. Just keep that dialogue going, even if it's one-sided for now. I remember one granddad who told me, "I used to read the newspaper out loud to my grandson. He had no clue what I was saying, but he'd just sit there wide-eyed, soaking it all in." That kind of everyday connection, it lays a foundation more solid than any baby app or flashcard ever could. By this stage, your baby may also be imitating more. You smile, they smile. You wave, they wave. These moments are little windows into their growing understanding of the world. It's not just adorable, it's essential. Imitation is how humans learn, and your baby's first teachers are the people they love most. So now you've got this beautiful, wiggly, babbling, reaching, smiling little human who's starting to make their way through the world one discovery at a time. And you're right there with them. Not just observing milestones, but nurturing them. Encouraging them. Celebrating them. And if some of these milestones come a little later, that's okay. You know your baby better than any checklist ever will. And if something feels off, if you're worried, they always say trust your gut, and that's good advice. Talk to your pediatrician if you're concerned. But don't let worry steal the joy from watching your baby grow. Milestones are meant to guide you, not scare you. You're doing the most important job there is, raising a child with love, awareness, and a steady hand. And even if you don't always feel confident, your baby sees you as their constant. Their rock. Their home base. That counts for everything.